for the ultimate source of inspiration, knowledge, and entertainment, look no further. Network Kingdom is a unique platform that brings together experts from various industries. Through networking and collaboration, we create inspiring conversations that educate, entertain, and motivate our listeners. Whether you're a business professional, an entrepreneur, or simply someone looking to grow their knowledge base.
Hello, hello, hello. Today I have with me Michelle. Thank you all for joining us again on another edition. Michelle, it's so nice to have you on our podcast today. Thank you.
I'm grateful to be here. God bless you. Yes.
I love your hair.
Thank you. The Minnie Mouse look.
Nice, nice. So who is Michelle?
Michelle is funny.
I can
happy,
tell. Infection, and it's infectious too.
Yeah, so I am a minister. I am a mother of 6. I have 2 bonus babies. I never say stepchildren because there's no stepping in the Bible. So I always call them my bonus babies. And we call ourselves the Brady Bunch. I have 3 boys and 3 girls. They're all over the age of 20. And so, yes, I'm so glad. I am very involved with my organization. It's called Unbreakable Faith Incorporated. It's a mentorship program that caters to male and female teenage and young adults that may have gone through sexual abuse, sex trauma, molestation, rape, or dating violence. That organization has been operating now for 2 years. We're still new. We enjoy what we're doing. And I also have a book that's out, and it's called I've Been There. A lot of times when we have conversations with people and you start talking, you feel like, oh, I've been there, and I've been there. So that's the title of my book. It's called I've Been There. And I tell the story of what happened to me from childhood up into current, basically about some things that took place in my life that prompted me to actually have the organization that I have today. As a child, I was molested, and as a preteen, and teenager, I was raped. And so,
Wow.
yeah, I didn't have a voice then. And so I am a big advocate dealing with our youth and our young adults. Because I didn't have a voice, I want them to receive what I did not get, and that is support.
So, it's we learn every day. So growing up, for some reason, I heard about rape. I heard about it. It wasn't that in my head, in my world, it wasn't that rampant. I heard about it once or twice. Being molested was something I never knew happened. And even now that I know, every day when I read news or when I listen to different women and I read statistics saying that a certain amount of women have been molested as children, the numbers are shocking.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe culture. So even parents that knew try to keep it in the wraps, and as young adults, you want to keep quiet because of the stigma. Because even the few rapes I heard about growing up, a lot of times the girl was blamed. Oh, it's because of where you were or because of what you were putting on. So I mean, I can imagine that even those that were raped at that age would have kept quiet. And for some people, they're still having to deal with that trauma because they never were able to deal with it. So, I mean, if you don't mind, that is, can you just take me back? How did it happen? Why did you keep quiet about it? And what led you to finally open up?
Okay. Yes, absolutely. So, what happened with me is that at the age of 3, 4 years old, well, yeah, 3.5, 4, I had an incident that happened to me in regards to my uncles. Both of my uncles were actually asked me to come into the bathroom with them. And in my household, you do what you're told. As a little girl, I'm still learning the rules, right? So I go in the bathroom, and then this incident happens where they tell me to do things to them.
Not
And
just one person.
yeah. It was both of them at the same time. It was both of them. Excuse me for a second. I apologize. This phone is ringing. I do apologize. Just gonna unplug it, let it go there. I do apologize. I'm sorry.
So two of them, which means they both agreed and they both knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah, they were together. Like I said, I was like 3.5, 4 years old, and so that happened. Now those two uncles were on my father's side. So it happened that one time with them. And then by the time I was like 10, 11, I had two uncles on my mother's side started molesting me. That one uncle didn't know about the other, what they were doing. It's just when I visit and had different events at the house, at my grandmother's house or at whoever house. One uncle was get me off to the side and start messing with me, and then another uncle at a different place, a different time, he would do the same thing. And so back in the day, it was always whatever goes on in this house stays in this house. And yeah, you just don't tell it. And I never said anything to anyone. So now here I am, 11 years
Not
old.
even to your mom.
I'm sorry.
Not even to your mom. Not even to your mom.
No, nobody. I'm here at 11, and I have been violated and didn't know that I was being violated. So I mean, I didn't know. I thought that's what you would just feel on me and, and rub on me and do things that whatever. So, that wasn't something we talked about in the household. The only girl that my mother had, I have two brothers in front of me, two behind me. I'm the only girl. I'm in the middle. So I didn't even talk to them. Now, at the age of 14, another uncle, now just keep up with me, I have two on my dad's side, two on my mom's side, and another uncle on my dad's side. He raped me at the age of 14. I went to visit my grandmother. It was a requirement to go visit with my grandmother. She stayed a few doors up. And so my brothers and we would go and visit. And on this particular day, I decided to go without them. My uncle had this thing where he would pull us into the room and let us look at pornography books. And it was very intriguing to me to see what I saw. And I'm like, ooh, and so this particular day, I was by myself to go visit my grandmother. And while I was visiting, he pulled me into the room, and I'm like, oh God, here we go again with him feeling on me and touching me and fondling me. But it got worse. We started scuffling in the room. My grandmother was in the kitchen cooking cornbread, and I loved her cornbread. She was on top of the stove and cooking her cornbread. And the big old stirring skillet. Oh my gosh. So I loved her cornbread. But she was in the kitchen humming and cooking, and I'm in the room with him, and we're scuffling because I'm trying to get him to move away from me and off of me. And my grandmother opened the bedroom door, and she saw what he was doing. She closed the door and started back humming again. So
no.
Yes. I'm 14. I'm wrestling with a grown man. You're my grandmother.
She tried to stop him.
Not at all. No, 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 no. She did not. She did not. She did not. No. That was not it. She just act like it was nothing going. I mean, like she was just like, just started back humming. So after I was raped, I just left the house, tore up, confused, hurt, and disgusted. I didn't tell anyone. I just couldn't. I lived in a household where there was abuse. My daddy was I had a 2-parent home. My dad was verbally and physically abusive to my mother, and he was also abusive to us as well. And there is no way I'm going to say anything to my dad because he's going to kill me, okay? Because just like you stated, I'm in my mind saying it's my fault. What I did this. I made him do this to me. And so 6 months passed. Again, I hadn't said anything to anyone, not even my mother. And my mother and I, that was my best friend, my mom. But I didn't want to hurt her because she's already going through so much in the home with my dad. So why would I put more pressure on her? So then I took on the responsibility of making sure somebody else is all right and not worry about me. So I met my stepsister at that time. And my dad didn't let us go anywhere. So I was able to, he allowed me to go to her home. Now her home is clear and beautiful. I lived in a house that was dim and dark, and but her home was nice, pretty, clean. I went to go take a shower that night to prepare for bed, and I had a major breakdown in the shower. I just screamed and yelled and everything. My sister ran upstairs to find out what was going on, and I told her. Now this is 6 months after this happened. I explained this to my sister. I had no cycle. I didn't know if I was pregnant or not. And I went to school that Monday, came home. My mom was at the door. She snatched me and slammed me against the wall, and she had tears running down her face, and she slapped me. And it wasn't because she was mad. It's because I'm your only daughter and I'm hurting. I didn't protect you. And I knew that my mom was in pain. I knew it. And so she said, I got to tell your daddy because it's his brother that did it. Now, mind you, I didn't go back and say anything about the other people because it happened with your brothers too, mama. And so it was already just horrific in the household. My daddy had a meeting with everyone that was involved. And I'm going to tell you, it was the worst day. It was just, as a teenager, you're just like, I'm already dealing with work. I'm not work. I'm already dealing with school, and then coming home and cleaning up. And now here it is on a Saturday. I just want to go in my room and hide in the closet. My uncle's there, my grandmother's there, my dad, my mom, every one of us. So my dad and my sister's on the phone. My stepsister's on the phone. So she said, Michelle, tell them what happened. And I said, no. And she said, well, I'm gonna tell it. And she told what happened. She said, isn't that right, Michelle? And I said, no. And then she was like, Michelle, I know what happened at my house. I said, no. I was scared. And my sister, she didn't understand. You're a grown woman. You should know that I'm scared. But she didn't. She said, well, she said, I don't know if you lied to me, if you lied to them. I don't know. She said, don't you ever talk to me again. And she hung up the phone. And to this day, I have not spoken to my sister at all. So
have you tried reaching out to her?
When my grandmother died on my daddy's side, she did come to the funeral. She was very distant with me. I did say hello. And that's that. Yeah.
Have you tried to explain to her that you were scared?
She won't. There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing. She reached out to my dad a few times. once she had a son, and to let him know she had a child, and when she got married, that she got married. And my dad, I went over to my dad's house, and I asked could he call her. And when he told her that I wanted to speak to her, she said, I don't want to talk to her.
So do you think, I mean, okay, so at that meeting, did they believe you? Did they believe she was right? Or did your dad, because obviously your grandmom knows what happened and your uncles know what happened, but did your dad believe her or believe you?
He believed her. My
Do you think
dad, yeah.
do you think perhaps he chose to believe her because that was a more convenient way to think?
Yeah, I really do. I know. Yeah. When I told and it just got worse when my sister hung up. When she hung up the phone, it got worse. So my mom said she was gonna call the police. And my dad said, no, you're not. And my mom said, we got to do something. She said, this happened. She's not going to lie about it. And so my dad went in the room, and it's in my book. I shared that he went in the room, got a shotgun. He came back out. He said, if anybody says anything in this house, I'll kill everybody. And I meant that.
Wow.
And mind you, I'm very already fearful of my dad because of the violence. So I just knew for certain that he was going to, I apologize. I'm at work.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I apologize. Come on in. This lady never comes up here. I do apologize. And so with that being said, with that being said, I actually was not happy at all, because she wanted to protect me, and she couldn't. She couldn't. She was fearful of him because of the abuse. And I'm 14, so I can't say anything. So my grandmother looked at me and she said to me that I was basically a liar, and that I was not telling the truth, and I needed to tell everyone the truth. And so at that time, it was just horrible. It was horrible.
So going forward, before your grandmom passed, did she ever at any point call you privately, even if not publicly, and apologize?
No, never. No.
And your uncle and your uncles, did they ever call you to apologize or acknowledge that they did you wrong?
No.
And are they still alive?
Yes, they are. Except for one on my mother's side. He's not. He passed away. I found out he was in a hospital, and I let him know. I went to go see him, and I told him I forgive him. But his response to me was horrible. It was.
What did he say?
He said to get the hell out his room. Yeah. And he said how much he hates me.
Wow.
Yep. On his deathbed. And I said, you know what? I still forgive you. So he was out of town. So my oldest brother and I, we were driving back to Charlotte, and we got a call from the hospital, and they said he's dead. So we had to turn back around, and I was the one who had to sign paperwork. And it was not, okay.
Okay, so now, I mean, there's so many questions I want to ask. So
Hold on 1 second, Miss Umba. I apologize again. I apologize. I do. Yes, ma'am.
So, now, I mean, this happened many years ago. Now, what does your dad think? Does he still disbelieve you? Has he apologized? Are you able to have a conversation with him?
Actually I did. It was about 2 months ago.
Wow.
I talked with my dad. My dad doesn't remember any of that. My dad's 73. I think he just blocked it out. I think he just blocked it because I remember that day he was so mad. And I talked to him and I said, you don't remember when you were calling me out my name that day? Because when it came out, and my grandmother, she pointed her finger in my face and she said, you're a liar, you're gonna go to hell. She said, I didn't see anything. I don't know anything about what you're talking about. And so my dad, he was on that day, he told me that I was a whore and a slut. And I'm 14. How could I be? And I mentioned that to him a few months back. And he said, I don't know what you are talking about. I said, you even told me on that same day not to even call you dad anymore. And so for all these years, I've been calling him his nickname. And he said, I always wonder why you did. He said, I never asked you why. He said, because your brothers, they still call me dad, but you don't. And we had that conversation. I said, you don't remember this happening? And I went back over the episode of what happened. He said, nah, ain't no way that'll happen with you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And your brothers?
Well, they were in the room, in the living room initially, but then they were told to get out. And so they left out. So they didn't know too much about what was going on. They knew something big. It was big. They didn't know too much. Like I said, I didn't tell anyone. I was 6 months later. It was 6 months. I didn't know if I was pregnant or what. And then when it all came out, I felt disgusted even the more. I just wanted to die. I just wanted to die.
So, but have you had this conversation with your brothers?
Well, once my book came out, that's when everything else started coming out. So when the book came out and some of my family members read the book, they were like, oh my God, you exposed us. I'm thinking, no, but my brothers, they came to me. 2 of my brothers came to me and said it happened to them. Now they've lived with this their whole life. My cousins told me it happened to her. Yeah.
I'm trying to understand, and I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you are fine.
So it happened to your uncles, did the same thing to your brothers?
Yeah. 2 of my uncles molested 2 of my brothers and my cousin. Yes. It may have been others, but they're not going to mention anything.
Yeah.
They won't say anything. But it did come out that happened to them and my cousin. She said the same thing because my family.
So obviously they understand your story.
Oh yeah. That my family started pushing back and didn't want to have anything to do with me when my book came out. But I was okay with it because now I'm free. I don't care. I need to put this out there of what happened to me. So yeah, I didn't tell my mom about her brother, the last brother. I didn't tell my mom until I was 21. I was 21 years old and I couldn't say, I had to tell her then. And when she found out, she took care of it herself because at this time she had left my dad. And yeah, she went and she did it. She got him real good.
Oh my, I'm happy that we're able to laugh.
Yeah.
Because when I haven't been through this, but I've been through my fair share of struggles. And when you're in it, you never imagine that a day would come where you'll be able to laugh again. And you never imagine that you can look back and, laugh at that situation, whatever it is. Now, oh my goodness, I don't even know what to say. We started out with you laughing and me laughing, and yes, it's fun, but when we started, it seemed like we were just going to have so much fun, and I'm still having fun, but I didn't think that I was going to, nothing prepared me for what I have heard. Obviously, you've done a lot of work on yourself. We don't have that much time, and I'm sure that I'm going to get you back on here, but I just want you to kind of help us see there are a lot of women who, and guys, I mean, imagine your brother, and I don't know about the society there, but here, a man has been wired to be strong, don't be weak, don't cry, don't, so you're bottling up those emotions and you're still trying to be a strong man, in quotes. So there's a lot going on in their head, and there's still a lot of women who have passed through this and lived through it. And it shows up for some of them in their work, for some of them in their relationships. And because they haven't spoken out, no one really knows why and where their actions are coming from. So we say things like, oh, she's so mean, oh, she's so cold, she lacks emotions, empathy. She's for spouses, they'll say, oh, she's not loving, she's cold.
Yeah,
And we
you're
never
right.
we never really know the backstory. And like I always tell people, I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, today I want to be cold and I'm going to wire myself to be cold and on and no emotions whatsoever. I don't think anybody wakes up to do that.
Right.
But life has just dealt different things to us. And for some people, they don't even know that they're appearing cold. For some people, they think they have dealt with it, but they really haven't dealt with it. It's still showing up in different ways. So can you just tell me one or two things you've done? Obviously, I'm sure you've sought professional help, counselors,
Right.
and I know that you're a minister, so I know that God and your faith has played a huge role. But other than that, there are some things that you also need to do yourself. Can you like give me like the one or two, the topmost, the first step that anybody who's gone through this and has kept quiet would need to go through?
No, I think they need to first of all take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
I know. I needed that.
That's the first thing. And just relax. It's gonna be okay. I am living proof that it is. And if this is something that you really want to start working on, this is a big assignment. It's an assignment that you'll never have ever again. I do apologize. I'm having so, can you keep pausing me, please?
So if you're anything like me, you want to hear this till the end. And my darling is so busy, but I'm dragging her out because she has to give us this information. So you were going to yes, you said deep breath, and I actually need that deep breath myself because there's a lot to unpack from this few minutes we've talked. And so after the deep breath, what next?
Start to gather yourself and ask yourself the question, do I want to be free? And if you want to be free, then you need to go and get started with this big assignment. This is not something that's going to be overnight. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of work to release that feeling inside of you of disgust, because that's what it is. And the feeling of not feeling important. You have to come to the realization of what you are dealing with. With me being a minister, it was not an easy road to get here. And a lot of people can say that they have all their different situations, but with me, for me to be where I am today, I had to let it go and let God deal with it. I didn't get counseling. The forgiveness came from the Father. It came from God. The scripture tells us this. When Jesus was on the cross, he said, Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Those things that happened to me as a child, it evidently had to have happened to my uncles at some point. They had something going on with them. I don't have a hatred spirit. I just don't. I don't hate anyone. I even went and thought about everything that's happened in my life. I don't even hate my father. I love him. I don't hate him. I go and visit with him. He's not that far, and I go visit with him every now and then, and we have conversations. I don't hate anyone. I just don't. If you want to be free, I just take your breath and then start, think about what you want to do. The first step is take that breath. The second step is to go ahead and start with getting counseling. We have counseling out here today. I think it's so important for someone to get counseling. They won't have to go through all the hurt that I went through by myself. And no one knows that you're going to counseling except for you, right? Unless you tell somebody. If you tell somebody you're in counseling, then you putting the shame back on you again. Don't do that. Go and talk to someone. Those nights that you're crying by yourself, the counselor can give you some things to tell you that you can do. A lot of times we get anxiety or we feel that we're in bondage. We have to take a walk. We have to walk. We have to, there's a lot of things that we have to do to get ourselves together. And if anyone needs that help, I'm here. I'm here. It doesn't matter where you are. I'm here. I have a lot of compassion. I know that this is hard. I know that you don't want to deal with it. But the only way anyone is going to heal is to face the pain. You're not going to heal until you face the pain. Wow. It's just like going to having surgery. If you having surgery, guess what? You got to go through the process of that pain. Yeah. You have to. And eventually in the end, you will have the joy to know that it's now over. Thank God I had the surgery. I don't have to worry about this anymore. The same thing will happen in your life. It will. I'm the living proof. It will happen. It will. I have joy. I'm not sad because of what happened, because what has happened, I took what they did and I made it a testimony to let other people know that they can have the victory. They don't have to be in bondage anymore.
Wow. Thank you so much, Michelle. And you're definitely coming back because we're going to have a part 2.
Yeah, I want to come back on your show. I really do. I think we have a lot that we need to talk about. And I don't know what all these distractions happen today, but we need to talk. We do. We need to talk. I really feel that you have more that you want to talk about with me. I can tell. You have so many questions and so much more. Yes. Please invite me back to your show. I would love to come back. Just go ahead, call Kevin, tell him put you back up there again. I want to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you. And hey, guys, I'm speechless. So I'm speechless, but you know how it goes. Reach out to Michelle if you ever need to talk. She's a heart of gold. Thank you so much, Michelle. And I'm out.
You've been listening to Network Kingdom with Omo Obulor. Remember, if you cannot see where you're going, ask someone who has been there before.